Hi, Brian Parker here. I want to touch upon a video I did almost 2 years ago. It was a little video. It's probably one of the first I ever did when I started these podcasts and productions and videos to show you how to handle the legal process without hiring an attorney. And it is, again, it's one of the most popular videos online. And it always fascinates me because it's so badly done and I had no clue what I was doing. I had headphones on that weren't working. So I want to touch upon the rule of 5 again. It's a little rule that has a massive power punch. So if you're facing a deposition, this will be the thing you need to have a shield and a spear at the same time. And I promise you, when you get done learning about the rule of 5, 3 things will be true. You will eliminate the anxiety about taking the deposition. You'll actually want to take it. I know that sounds weird. You'll eliminate your own story. That's right. You spend all this time defending yourself, creating a counter affidavit, creating a great answer, and I don't want you to talk about it, unless you want to. And you eliminate the other attorney on the other side. It's his playground, it's his conference room, and yet you will be the winner. So I don't know how you win a deposition, but if you follow the rule of 5 that I'm about to tell you, you will win the deposition. So the philosophy behind the rule of 5, it's math. I've done hundreds of depositions over 30 years, and the one thing is true: the less you say, the better your chances of winning. So if you think about it, if someone is deposing you, they are not deposing you to help you. There's zero chance that an attorney wants to depose you to help you, and if you're an attorney watching this, to help your client. So you want to minimize the damage you're going to do. Now, if you see movies and if you've played Blackjack, you can win at Blackjack, but the longer you sit at that table, the greater the chances that you're going to give the money back. So great Blackjack players spend very little time at the Blackjack table. They get in, they have a win or they lose, but they walk away from the table. So that same philosophy underlies how you handle a deposition. It's all about math and anxiety. The minute you get that deposition notice, you're scared. I know it. I've been deposed. It wasn't that I was scared, but I was worried that I would screw my case up. And just on a side note, when I depose attorneys, they can't stop talking. And a lot of times they don't even bring an attorney in because there's an ego drive there and they think they can just get themselves out of trouble. I'm going to show you how to be smarter than the average attorney that's being deposed. But I'm also going to eliminate, as I said, the anxiety of taking a deposition. Remember, the only reason an attorney is deposing you, the only reason, is to screw up your case, is to kill your case. And you will if you go in anxious and emotional and wanting to tell your story. So I often joke about being a problem Parker. Well, you can, for yourself, or if you are someone that is represented by an attorney, you can be a problem client too. And for yourself, just keep going on and on and on and on because you want to tell your story and you're just convinced that once the guy hears everything that you say, you'll be winning this. No. You want to eliminate any discussion of the reason why you are sitting there. It sounds weird, but understand, as a species, we are accommodating. If someone asks us for help, generally we're going to help. If someone asks us for directions, we're going to tell them directions. Turn that off. When you are deposed, you must be a robot. Even pretend to be an AI robot. But I'll explain myself better when you hear what the rule of 5 is. But you must be a robot. And I'm going to show you in what context. I need you to remember that words are oxygen to an attorney. So the more words that you speak at a deposition, the more questions this person can ask you. The less words, the less oxygens, and you kill the attorney's ability to breathe, which is using the words and using the words against you. So the rule of 5 is created to eliminate your story, really, eliminate words, eliminate anxiety, eliminate emotions, and make you a DepBot. You are a robot, a deposition, DepBot. So I'm gonna tell you what the rule of 5 is now. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I want you to remember that also that the other side is not there to help you in any way, shape, or form. Most attorneys sit down in front of you and go, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm not here to trick you. That means they're there to trick you. I'm gonna be as quick as I can. They're gonna take as long as they want. They're gonna be, just remember when you're being deposed, think the opposite of what the person is saying. It's no different than a salesman trying to trick you. And we all get tricked into buying things because the person's a good salesperson. Just think, I believe the opposite of what the attorney's telling me. So I'm gonna tell you that the rule of 5 is an empowerment vehicle. It's to empower you. So you've got a deposition notice. That makes everybody go, oh God, this attorney who's a seasoned veteran attorney is gonna be raking me over the coals. I'm gonna screw up my case. If you're represented by an attorney, I'm gonna screw up his case. This can't go well. You're gonna get nervous, and just like any other nerve-wracking event, the closer you get to the event, the more nervous you get, sleepless nights. And by the time you get to the deposition, you're a mess. I'm gonna change all that, okay? So I'm gonna teach you now the rule of 5, how I teach my clients. Remember, you must always tell the truth, always. But I want your story to be limited. Whatever you say must be the truth. But the rule of 5 takes that truth and parcels it out in small pieces that if done correctly, the attorney, I've seen it, will just give up. The guy on the other side will just I've seen attorneys get really mad at my clients that are really incorporating the rule of 5. It works. You don't have to follow my advice. It's what I tell my clients. And for the most part, they follow my advice. So this is the rule of 5. Okay, you remember? So when you enter into a deposition, you must hold up your hand. This is how I prep a client. And I say the following. Look at your hand, no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. Let me repeat that. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less, all right? So generally as humans, this is sometimes considered a submissive event. So you're going into this believing that you are the submissive one, going to be hurt. And the other attorney believes that too. Turn that hand around and remember, no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. Sometimes I have my clients put it on a piece of paper and outline. And so I don't stop saying to them, no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. You should say it to yourself. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. What does that mean? When you are asked a direct question, and it is a yes or no question, for some reason, we do not feel comfortable saying no or yes. So no matter what you are asked that requires a no or yes response, it's no or yes. For example, hey, do you think the Detroit Lions are gonna go all the way this year? Oh yeah, they got that great quarterback and they've made some great purchases and they've got a bigger field and everybody at the place is. No, the answer is yes. That's extremely important. When you say no or yes, you cut off the oxygen of the person asking that question. They're asking the question expecting you to just vomit out your story and give them more. So they can only ask you what you talk about. So it's no or yes. If you have a guess question, what's a guess question? Unless the question in your mind creates a 100% truthful answer, you are guessing. Do not guess. No or yes, do not guess. Why? Because what if you're wrong? Because we're an accommodating species, we say, oh, I want to help you, I want to help you. The guy sitting across from you is not there to do you any favors or to help you in any way, shape, or form. He's there to hurt you and your case. So why be accommodating? So do not guess. If you don't know the answer, the best answer that you can answer in a deposition is, I don't know. I mean, it is just, I love that answer. I don't know. It's a truthful answer. That's 100% true if you don't know 100% that the answer you're about to give is truthful. With that said, I want you to remember something. The attorney may try to get you on what's called a train. Getting you an answer, then tricking you, and you are so conditioned on answering, you blurt out an answer. So every answer you make, you should take at least 5 seconds to answer. You can take 5 minutes, you can take 20 minutes to answer a single question, because a transcript is created of every deposition, but it will not say that the attorney asked you a question and then 20 minutes later you answered it. It'll just say, Mary asked a question, Bob answered. It won't say, the transcript will not relay how long it takes for you to answer. I'm going to tell you something that doesn't sound right, but the more time you take to answer a question, the less time you will be in that deposition. Remember, the longer you sit at the blackjack table, the greater the chance the house is going to win back its money. It's just statistically true. And the longer you sit at a conference room table with an attorney, a seasoned attorney across from you, you're eventually going to break down. But you can't be kept there if you are not providing the word oxygen to the attorney. So if you do not know the answer, it is do not guess. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. Let's talk about 5 words or less. I used to teach my kids chess, and they would hold their hand on the piece they want to move and look around the board. So then I instituted a no touch move, meaning if they touch it, they have to move that piece. And sometimes they touch the piece and it's the wrong piece to move. Now they're stuck. So what that caused them to do is to see the board in their head and be better players and not touch anything till they're ready to make a decision. I want you to do that when you take a deposition. Take your time, think about it. You can take half an hour to answer a question. I've had clients do that, and the other attorney just gets so mad and upset and frustrated. But once that attorney's asked a question, you can take as long as you want, and if he starts harassing you, that's on the record. That is on the record. So in a way, you're sort of bothering the other attorney, but he called you in there, you can do whatever you want, and you can answer however you want. So I want you to remember, 5 words or less. Your job, that chess move I'm talking about, if somebody asks you a question that requires you to speak words, formulate sentences, I want you to keep it 5 words or less. 5 words or less. You can do it. It's 5 words or less. Why am I doing that? Why aren't you allowed to just tell your story? Because isn't the guy going to hear my story and say, hey, that's a winning story, case over, you win? No. When you go to trial, and I always assume that every case is going to trial. I mean, I can look at a case in 2 minutes and tell you where it's going, but stranger things have happened. You don't want to end up in trial where you weren't ready for it. So the real purpose of the deposition on the other side is to put it into what's called a motion to dismiss your words and tell the court, look, she said this, she said this. So that's a mini trial, if you will, because it's going to end the case. So you do not want to say a lot. 5 words or less. So if you want to take 20 minutes to answer a question that isn't a no or yes, and it's not a guess because you know the answer, take 20 minutes. You're not going to do it on every question, but take as much time as you want. I see the trip up every time. The other attorney asks simple questions to get it rolling and then asks you the killer question, and there's no thought in it. So that hand, that no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less, also operates as the 5-second rule. Do not answer a question until at least 5 seconds has passed. And then you'll know to add more seconds and more time to the answer, which must be 5 words or less. The less story, the less words, the less oxygen, and the less time you'll be there. I think clients that I get my clients deposed, they're out of there in an hour and a half. And that includes bathroom breaks and fights between the attorneys, because there is nothing to be said if you follow the rule of 5. It is an empowering mechanism to take control and eliminate the anxiety. You will go into the deposition mostly anxiety-free, and you will be just, come on, ask me the question, just so you can mess with the attorney. And I've had situations where the attorneys on the other side get so mad, and after the deposition, they want to know if there's something wrong with my client. What is, are they on something? They have mental health issues? And no, they had the rule of 5. So remember, no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. You eliminate the words, you eliminate the anxiety, you eliminate the attorney on the other side. He does not know your story. So if this goes to trial, the goal is the first time they hear your story will be at trial. So how a trial works is you have witnesses and evidence. Each side knows what the other side is going to present, and they've come up with ways to combat what the presentation of each side's evidence will be. The deposition is really the only chance the other side has to know what your side will be, either in a motion for dismissal or a trial. The rule of 5 eliminates their access to your story. If it's the first time they're hearing it is at trial, they have no chance like they had if they already knew your story. So that is the empowerment also of eliminating defenses and sudden witnesses that show up that refute what you had to say. That won't occur if the first time they hear your truth is at the trial. So the rule of 5, no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. I want my clients repeating that, so they just get sick of me and my rule of 5. So if you keep hearing me say that and you get sick of it, it means it's working. So when you face another attorney in a deposition, no or yes, don't answer anything that's a no or yes question without a no or yes. It drives the other attorney crazy because they know people don't answer questions like that. And I can watch the attorney who's like waiting for it upsets the other attorney. They've got all these questions based upon where they think you're going to go and what if you answer a certain thing. It really bothers the other side, and that's the empowerment. You eliminate the anxiety because you are taking control. Do not guess unless you know the answer is 100%. I don't know is the best answer that you can say at trial if it's the truth or in the deposition. Now, there are some that will say, well, when do you tell your story? You tell it when you really need to and it benefits you. There are other attorneys, especially personal injury attorneys, that say, we want you to tell your story because you want to talk about damages and how you're hurt. Well, that's true, but this ain't that. This is a collection lawsuit. And the less you say, I'll tell you why, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Even the judges use the fact that you owe the debt against you. So the less you say about that, which has nothing to do with whether the other side owns the debt. So the less your story comes out, the better. This is not a personal injury case. So remember, no or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. Remember what I talked about. Do not say anything unless it's 5 words or less, and take as long as you want. I hope that's clear. The rule of 5 will make you a better deponent, but I want you to be a robot. I remember I had a couple that I was represented, and they were allowed to sit together, and they did very well after I instructed them on the rule of 5, and then the attorney deposed them, and she looked at her husband and said, how'd I do? And he said, fine. No, she says, no, how did I do? Good. And he kept doing the rule of 5. It's a very empowering. I hope you think so too if you face a deposition. Good luck.